Something in me wants to think him. No, not think him. Please him. He leans back in his chair, gaze locked on mine. Come here. I rise on unsteady legs. I don't ask why. He watches me approach slowly, every step dragging the tension tighter. I reach his desk. He lifts one brow on your knees. My breath stutters. He waits, and I drop. The carpet is soft beneath me. My pulse is not. He reaches out, lifts a strand of hair from my cheek. You want to redeem yourself, Eliza? Yes, I whisper, then listen. He opens his trousers, just enough. Use your mouth. The words land like a slap, like a gift. I hesitate for a moment, not out of fear, but out of the thrill of what I'm about to do, of who I'm about to become. Then I lean in. I can feel him, hot, heavy, waiting. I take him into my mouth, slowly, carefully, reverently. He doesn't move. Doesn't guide. Just watches. Good, he says quietly. Just like that. I find a rhythm, controlled, focused. I want to do it well. I want to erase every error he marked with every flick of my tongue, every breath between strokes. He groans low, deep, restrained. His hand slides into my hair, but doesn't push. He doesn't have to. I give him everything. Until I feel him tense, then still. He pulls me off with one soft word. Enough. I sit back on my heels, flushed, panting, dazed. He tucks himself away like it never happened. Then stands, takes a tissue, and wipes the corner of my mouth himself. You will revise the full dissertation, he says. 2 weeks. No excuses. NOD, I can't speak. And Eliza. He tilts my chin up, forcing me to look him in the eye. You will not disappoint me again. No, Professor. Good girl. My whole body reacts to the praise like a jolt of electricity. He sees it and smiles. The first true smile I've seen. As I leave his office. I carry the weight of the pages in my hand and the ache between my legs like a second assignment. I leave his office with a mind full of notes and a body humming, with something I don't dare name. Not just academic determination, a need to please him, and the terrifying realization that I'd do almost anything to hear him say good girl again. I avoid Professor Blackwood for 3 days, working feverishly on my revisions in the graduate student lounge rather than my usual corner of his department's floor. When his email arrives requesting my immediate presence, my stomach knots. His office door is already open when I arrive. He doesn't look up from his laptop. Sit, he says, gesturing to the chair across from him. I perch on the edge, clutching my notebook like armor. Your avoidance is counterproductive, he says finally, closing his laptop. If you're to be my doctoral candidate, we need to establish parameters. Parameters? The word comes out breathier than intended. You're brilliant but undisciplined, Eliza. Your ideas scatter like startled birds. He leans forward. I can help you focus, but my methods are unconventional. I don't understand. I've reviewed your academic history. Perfect grades, perfect recommendations, perfect papers. You've never truly failed until now. His eyes hold mine. You don't know how to process criticism because you've rarely received it. I flush. That's not. It's precisely true. And now, when faced with genuine academic challenge, you break. He opens a drawer, placing a contract between us. I'm offering intensive mentorship, 2 evenings weekly, in addition to our regular meetings. The document outlines expectations of complete academic surrender and disciplined obedience to methodological instruction. This is unusual, I whisper. So is your potential? His voice softens marginally. I don't waste time on mediocre students, and if I refuse, then continue as you were. Submit your revisions to the committee, hope for the best. He shrugs. But we both know your framework is fundamentally flawed. Without intensive intervention, your dissertation will likely fail. 3 years of work, my entire academic future. What exactly would these sessions involve? I ask. Breaking you down to build you back stronger. Teaching you to separate your ego from your intellect. He taps the contract. Everything remains academically focused, but I require your complete submission to my methods. The word submission sends an unexpected shiver through me. You'll have a safe word, he adds, watching me carefully. If my methods become too intense, you say it once, we pause. Twice the session ends, 3 times our arrangement terminates. This feels more like negotiating a psychological experiment than academic advising. Yet something in me is drawn to his certainty, his precision. Why are you offering this? I ask. Because wasted potential offends me. He extends a pen. Decision time, Eliza. My hand trembles slightly as I sign. Our first session begins at 7 p.m. on a Friday, when the department is nearly empty. I knock tentatively on his door. Enter. His voice commands from within. The office is transformed. Books cleared from the visitor chair. Desk organized with military precision. A single lamp casts the room in deep amber shadows that dance along the walls. Close the door. He stands behind his desk jacket gone, sleeves rolled to his elbows with clinical precision. Lock it. The click of the lock echoes too loud in the quiet. Final. Charged. Our sessions require privacy, he says. Academic vulnerability demands protection. I nod, standing awkwardly under his gaze. First principle, he says evenly. In this room, during these hours, you are not Dr. Mitchell in training. You are not my equal. You are a student receiving correction. Clear? Yes. His eyebrow rises, sharpening the moment. Yes, Professor Blackwood, I correct myself. Better. He gestures to the center of the room. Kneel there. Excuse me. Kneel. On the floor. That's hardly professional, Eliza. He says just my name, but with enough weight to stop me cold. What did you just agree to? Submission to your methods, I answer, the words catching in my throat, and already you resist. The safe word is thesis. Say it once. I pause. Twice I stop. Say it 3 times, and this ends completely. We lock eyes. The moment stretches thin and trembling. Then, slowly, I sink to my knees. The carpet is soft. My breathing is not. Good. His voice lowers as he begins to circle me. Academia demands humility. True learning begins when we kneel before knowledge. This feels demeaning, I whisper, already flushed. Is it demeaning to acknowledge someone knows more than you? His voice passes behind me like smoke. Or does your ego simply fear the truth? I stay silent, recite. Your errors, he says, every critique I made. I begin, voice tight, statistical gaps, selection bias, per control of variables. Louder, he says, own them. I raise my voice. It trembles, but doesn't break dot as I speak. I feel his presence behind me close, the heat of him, the gravity. He's not touching me, but my body reacts as if he is. My thighs tighten instinctively. My breath shortens, slower, he commands. Let the word settle. He moves again, and now I swear I can feel the air shift every time he passes. When I falter, I hear the quiet click of a pen setting down, no longer note-taking, now observing, studying me like a subject. When I finish, he lets the silence stretch. Now, he says more softly, tell me how you'll fix them. All of them. I do. I outline each correction, still kneeling, pulse thrumming. My skirt shifts as I shift. My spine aches. But I don't stop dot at one point. My voice cracks. Breathe through it, he says. You don't quit when it burns. Muscle in my thigh seizes. I flinch, adjust. Did I say you could move? No, Professor. Then don't. The heat in his voice makes me shiver. There's no anger, just control. And strangely, I crave it dot by the time he finally tells me to rise. An hour has passed. My legs tremble. My chest is flushed with exertion and something else I dare not name. But my mind is clear. I have a plan. A path forward. And more than that, his approval. Same time Monday, he says, already turning away dot at the door. He pauses. Doesn't look at me. You did well, Eliza. Just 4 words. But they strike somewhere deep, dark, and thrilling. And as I walk to my car, body aching, skin buzzing, I realize I'm smiling. During our next session, Professor Blackwood circles my kneeling form like a meticulous predator. Today we discuss the safe word, he says. Its importance cannot be overstated. I understand what a safe word is, I reply, immediately regretting my tone. He crouches before me, our eyes level. His cologne something with cedar and black pepper invades my senses. Do you? Then explain its significance in our context. I swallow. It gives me control when I appear to have none. A smile flickers across his severe features. Precisely. Power exchange requires trust in both directions. He stands. Your safe word is thesis. Say it once, I pause and assess. Say it twice, the session ends immediately. 3 times, our arrangement terminates permanently. Why thesis? Because it represents your ultimate goal, what we're protecting through this process. He moves behind his desk. Now stand. I rise, relieved to be off my knees. Recite your research question? I do, and he shakes his head. Again, but this time, believe in it. I repeat my thesis statement with more conviction. Better. Again. By the 5th repetition, I'm almost shouting it, my voice strong and clear. Good. He approaches, stopping uncomfortably close. Now defended against my primary critique. I begin my defense, but he interrupts, challenging every point. His proximity is distracting. I can feel his breath when he speaks. When I stumble over my words, his hand touches my shoulder, ostensibly correcting my posture. Stand straight. Academia has no room for intellectual cowering. His hand lingers a moment longer than necessary. The touch, though professional in intent, sends an unexpected warmth through my body. Continue, he commands. I force myself to focus, to ignore his closeness as I counter his arguments. When I finish, he steps back, evaluating me. Your arguments are improving, but your body betrays your insecurity. His eyes scan me clinically. When you speak, your shoulders curve inward, protecting yourself. This undermines your intellectual authority. He circles behind me, and I tense as his hands settle on both shoulders. Relax, he says quietly. I'm demonstrating proper academic posture. His grip is firm as he adjusts my stance, shoulders back, spine straight. His thumbs press momentarily into tense muscles at the base of my neck. There, he says, removing his hands. Maintain this posture during academic discourse. Physical confidence projects intellectual authority. I remain perfectly still, hyper-aware of where his hands had been. Say the safe word, he suddenly commands. What? Say it. I need to know you can when necessary. Thesis, I whisper. Again with conviction. Thesis, he nods, satisfied. Remember your power in this room lies in that word. Never hesitate to use it. As I gather my things to leave, he adds, next session, bring your revised methodology section. We'll begin the real work. In the hallway, I exhale slowly, touching my shoulder where his hand had been. The lingering sensation isn't unpleasant, and that realization unsettles me more than his touch had. Spend the weekend perfecting my revisions like my life depends on it. By Monday, I'm wired from caffeine and adrenaline, but I walk into his office with sharpened resolve. Professor Blackwood doesn't look up as I hand him the pages. Stand in the center. I move to the marked spot on the floor, spine straight, chin lifted. But my heart is hammering. He reads in silence, pen scraping against paper. The tension builds with every stroke. Then, your statistical approach remains fundamentally flawed. I disagree, I say, surprising myself. I address every point you raised. He looks up at me, cold, focused. Explain this regression model. I begin. He rises. As I speak, he circles me slowly, steps soundless. On the floor, his presence is a pressure, hot, controlled. You've chosen what's fashionable over what's sound. I stiffen. That's not true. He moves behind me, closer. Eliza, he says quietly. Do not argue from emotion. His hand brushes the side of my neck, not soft, not cruel. A test. I freeze. He leans in until his breath grazes my ear. You agreed to my methods. You remember the safe word? Yes, I breathe. Say it now, he murmurs. Or take what's coming. I don't say it. He presses my marked up pages to my chest. I instinctively clutch them and feel his hand slide slowly, deliberately, around my waist from behind. You think this rewrite is enough? His lips graze my jaw. I can't finish the sentence. He pulls me flush against him, one arm firm around my middle, the other sliding slowly down my thigh, over my skirt. Just enough pressure to make me gasp, just enough to make me tremble. "You're still hiding," he says darkly, "behind citations, behind technique." I grip the papers tighter, swallowing a sound I can't name. "Put them on the floor," he says. I obey, placing the pages at my feet. "Now," he murmurs, guiding my arms gently behind my back. "Hold still." He doesn't bind me, but the way he controls my body with his voice and hands, it's enough. His mouth brushes the back of my neck. My knees weaken. "You want to prove yourself?" he asks. "Then stay exactly where I put you." His fingers trail down the inside of my thigh, shy of crossing the line, yet charged enough to make my legs shake. And then he steps back. I gasp at the absence of him. "Defend your work again," he says, returning to his desk like nothing happened. My voice shakes as I speak, but I keep going. He watches me, seated, legs spread slightly, one hand tracing his pen against the desk, while the other rests openly, deliberately on his thigh. I get through the full argument, breathless, flushed, shaking. "Better," he says finally. "You didn't break." "Was this a test?" I ask, voice raw. "Everything is a test," he replies. "And you passed." He walks over slowly, lifts the papers from the floor, and brushes his fingers across my hip. "I want the full reconstruction by Friday. No errors." That single quotes S. a lot. "Then you'll have to work harder." He opens the door. "You did well today," he says, voice low. "Your discipline, your silence, your restraint. Was impressive." I walk to my car with my body still aching, not just from pressure, but from how close he got without taking anything more. And part of me is already desperate for Friday. Friday arrives with rain slashing against the windows. I've barely slept. My fingers tremble as I carry my revised draft into Professor Blackwood's candlelit office. He stands at the window, silent, watching the storm. "Close the door," he says, still facing away. The room glows with low amber light. Candles flicker across polished wood. The usual clinical coldness is gone, replaced by something intimate, undeniably deliberate. "Power outage in this wing," he explains, eyes still on the rain. "Emergency lights in the hallway." "Not here." I step closer, placing the thick stack of revised pages on his desk. He finally turns, gestures to the chair across from him. "Sit down." I obey, heart pounding. He begins reading. The only sounds are thunder, the scrape of turning pages, and the soft rustle of his thumbs sliding along paper edges. I watch the candlelight move across his face, shadowed, unreadable. "This," he says eventually, "is excellent work. Relief floods me." "Thank you, Professor. You've reconstructed your model. It's rigorous, original." His eyes lift to mine. "You've proven me right about your potential." I should feel triumphant. Instead, something inside me sinks, heavy, aching. The praise I thought I craved suddenly feels hollow. He notices. Instantly. "Something troubles you?" I hesitate. "I'm just tired. I worked through the night to remove your glasses." His tone is quiet, firm. I blink. "What?" "Take them off." Confused, I obey. The room softens at the edges. "So does he, but only just now your hair," he says. My hand moves to the button. I freeze. "Professor, I'm not sure this is your armor," he says. "Every piece of it is intentional. The glasses, the pinched hair, the severe wardrobe. You wear it to intimidate, to disappear." My fingers tremble at the pins. "This isn't relevant to my research." He steps closer. "It's entirely relevant. You hide behind that image because you fear being exposed." He leans down. "Take it down." Slowly I do. The bun unravels. My hair spills over my shoulders. The sensation is disarming, sensual. "Stand." He says. I rise, heart fluttering. "Recite your thesis." I speak, but the words feel small, my voice uncertain. "Again," he says, "but don't hide." I push my hair back and lift my chin. "This thesis interrogates the intersection of statistical interpretation and disciplinary bias in peer-reviewed frameworks." "Good," he interrupts, stepping closer. "Now stop intellectualizing." His hand lifts, fingers brushing a strand of hair from my cheek. The backs of his fingers graze down the side of my neck. My breath catches. You don't need to shield yourself anymore. His voice drops. You've earned my attention. His thumb grazes my jaw, tracing it slowly. I freeze, pulse thundering. Say the word, he murmurs, barely audible, and I stop. I don't say it. He steps closer, so close I can feel the heat of him. One hand slides to the curve of my back, pressing me gently, inexorably forward until my thighs touch the edge of his dusk dot, then silence. The storm outside crashes like waves. He stands behind me now, hands resting lightly on my hips. Not moving, just dot holding. I'm breathing hard, but I don't pull away. His mouth is suddenly near my ear. You want more than approval, don't you? I nod. Say it. I want more. More what? My voice barely escapes. More of you. One hand lifts, slowly dragging the fabric of my blouse over my side, just high enough for cool air to hit skin. I won't give you everything, he says. Not yet. You'll earn it, one session at a time. Then his hand slides lower, over the back of my skirt. It doesn't go beneath, he's too controlled for that. But the pressure, the deliberate friction, makes my knees nearly buckle. Still with me? He asks. Yes, I breathe. He withdraws. Walks away, leaves me trembling. Our session is complete, he says. Returning to his chair like nothing happened, as I gather my things, dizzy and disoriented, he adds, wear your hair down next time. It isn't a suggestion, and I can't. Stop the way my legs ache with every step back to my car aching, not from exertion, but from the our sessions intensify over the next 2 weeks. The dissertation that once felt like a crumbling tower now has a solid foundation. Professor Blackwood Gabriel, though I dare only think his first name. Never say it has restructured not just my research, but my approach to academia. Tonight's session begins differently. The Northeastern Philosophy Conference, he announces. As I enter, you'll be presenting. My stomach drops. That's in 3 weeks. I'm not ready. You are. He hands me a confirmation email. I've already submitted your abstract without asking me. I'm suddenly furious. That's an opportunity you would have declined out of fear. He stands uncomfortably close. Your work deserves recognition. My work isn't ready for public scrutiny. Then we have 3 weeks to prepare you. His eyes narrow, unless you'd prefer to use your safe word. The challenge in his voice is unmistakable. No, I say quietly. Good, then kneel. I comply, my anger still simmering. He circles me, his voice taking on a lecturer's cadence. Conference. Presentations require physical presence as much as intellectual rigor. You'll be judged on posture, voice, confidence. He stops behind me. Stand. I rise, and he places his hands on my shoulders, adjusting my stance. These corrections have become familiar, though each touch still sends electricity through me. Shoulders back, chin up. His hands move to my waist, straightening my spine. Project authority. He stands before me, closer than necessary. Recite your presentation introduction. I begin speaking, but he immediately raises his hand. Louder, from your diaphragm, not your throat. For an hour, he corrects every aspect of my presentation style, my breathing, my gestures, my emphasis. His hands frequently guide my posture, lingering longer each time. Again, he commands after I've recited my introduction for the 20th time. I can't, you can. His voice softens almost imperceptibly. Once more, I gather my remaining energy and deliver the introduction perfectly, my voice strong and unwavering. Excellent. His approval washes over me like warm water. Now, imagine the audience's most challenging question. They might question the validity of comparing philosophical frameworks across disparate historical contexts. And your response? I articulate a defense I've been developing for weeks. He nods, satisfaction evident. Remember that answer when your confidence wavers? As our session ends, he hands me a folder. Conference details. I've booked adjoining rooms. My pulse quickens. Adjoining. For continued preparation, the conference environment is unpredictable. His tone remains professional. Unless you object? The proper response would be to insist on separate rooms, to maintain appropriate boundaries. Instead, I hear myself say, "No objection. Good." His eyes hold mine for a moment too long. I expect daily practice until then. Record yourself and send me the videos for critique. At the door, he adds, "You're not the same scholar who cried in my office that first day." No, I agree. I'm not. Walking away, I realize that while my dissertation has grown stronger, something else has become dangerously fragile, the boundary between academic submission and something far more personal. The conference hotel gleams with corporate luxury, a stark contrast to the shabby comfort of university buildings. I check in with trembling hands, acutely aware that Professor Blackwood stands several feet behind me, observing. "Room 842, the receptionist says cheerfully. And for Professor Blackwood, 844, with the connecting door as requested. I feel heat rise to my cheeks, but maintain the composed expression I've practiced for weeks. The elevator ride is silent, tense with unspoken expectations. In the hallway, he speaks finally. 1 hour to settle in. Then we'll review your presentation. In my room. My room is impersonal but elegant. Through the door connecting our rooms, I hear him moving about, making phone calls. I change into the presentation outfit he approved, a charcoal pencil skirt and burgundy blouse that's professional, but, as he noted, not hiding behind shapelessness. When I knock on the connecting door, his deep voice responds immediately. Enter. He's removed his tie and jacket, standing by the window overlooking the city. Your presentation is at 10 tomorrow. That gives us tonight to perfect your delivery. For 2 hours, he drills me relentlessly. Stand here, project more, pause there for emphasis. His corrections are precise, occasionally punctuated by brief touches, adjusting my posture, positioning my hands, once tilting my chin to the proper angle. The questions will be challenging, he says. Some deliberately provocative. I'm prepared. Are you? He steps closer. What if they attack not just your research, but you personally? Question your qualifications? Your right to speak on this topic? What if they suggest you're merely parroting my ideas, that you lack original thought? The accusation stings with its proximity to my deepest fears. I would ... my voice falters. Yes. I would remind them that intellectual lineage doesn't negate innovation. My voice strengthens. And that their focus on my relationship to my advisor, rather than my research, reveals more about their biases than my scholarship. Something like, pride flickers in his eyes. Good. He turns away, pouring 2 glasses of wine from a bottle on the desk. You've earned this. I accept the glass cautiously. Is this appropriate? A celebratory drink between colleagues before a conference presentation? Entirely. He raises his glass. To your academic debut, the wine is rich, expensive. We drink. In silence, the atmosphere shifting subtly. Tomorrow, he says finally, I'll be watching from the back row. Not introducing you, not sitting prominently. You stand on your own merit. Thank you, I say, understanding this is a gift freedom from his visible authority, a chance to be seen as my own scholar. He takes my empty glass, his fingers brushing mine. You should rest now. At the connecting door, he stops me. Eliza. I. Turned out, his hand reaches out, fingers tracing my collarbone just above my blouse. You're ready, he says softly. The touch lasts mere seconds but burns into my skin. It's the first contact that has no pretense of academic correction. In my room, I press my hand where his fingers had been, my body humming with wine and something. More dangerous than wine. My presentation exceeds even my expectations. Voice steady, posture confident, arguments precise. During questions, I handle each challenge with the composure Professor Blackwood has drilled into me. From the back row, his expression gives nothing away, but I present for him alone, afterward. Academics cluster around me with follow-up questions and business cards. A woman from Princeton invites me to submit to her journal. 2 hours pass before I can break away, exhilarated and exhausted. I find him in the hotel bar, nursing a whiskey. Professor? I slide onto the stool beside him, still buzzing with adrenaline. Doctor. Mitchell, he responds formally, aware of colleagues nearby. Exemplary presentation. Thank you. I order a gin and tonic, feeling suddenly bold. Your training was effective. His eyes darken slightly at the word training. We sit in charged silence until he finally says, You handled Bedford's question. Masterfully. I anticipated it. I sip my drink. You taught me to prepare for the most hostile interpretation. You've learned well. He finishes his whiskey. There are still conference sessions this afternoon. I know. I meet his gaze directly. I'm not attending them. Something dangerous flickers between us. A scholar should take full advantage of conference opportunities. I am. The gin emboldens me. Just not the ones on the official schedule. He stands abruptly. We should continue this discussion privately. In the elevator, we stand apart, not speaking. The tension between us has transformed into something that can no longer hide behind academic pretense. Inside his hotel room, he locks the door. You're taking risks, Eliza. Am I? I remain near the door. Or am I finally showing initiative? Your academic performance today was exceptional. He approaches slowly. But this, he gestures between us, complicates matters. Does it? I step forward. You've spent weeks breaking down my boundaries, Professor, academic and otherwise. That wasn't it? My heart pounds painfully. The touching. The adjoining rooms. The wine. His jaw tightens. Our relationship is professional. Is it? Then I should leave. I turn toward the door. Eliza. His voice stops me. Use your safe word if you need to. The implication sends heat through me. Why would I need it now? Because what I want goes beyond academic mentorship. His honesty is brutal, unexpected. I should say the word. Should end whatever dangerous game we're playing. Instead, I hear myself ask, what do you want? The same submission in private that you've given me professionally. His voice is low, controlled. But that crosses lines I promised not to cross. What if I want those lines crossed? Then you're not thinking clearly. He moves to the window, putting distance between us. Conference euphoria. Power dynamics. There are a dozen psychological reasons you might think you want this. His rejection stings worse than any academic criticism. I should go. Yes, he agrees, not looking at me. You should. In my room, I curl into myself, confused and humiliated. Had I misread everything? Projected meaning onto academic interactions? A soft knock on the connecting door startles me. Eliza. His voice comes through the wood. I need to know you're all right. I'm fine, I lie. Just preparing for tomorrow's sessions. Silence, then. I've crossed ethical boundaries already. I recognize that. No, I say quickly. You've been professional. Professional? He laughs bitterly. Through the door. Is that what you call it? I don't answer. Can't answer. We should maintain distance for the remainder of the conference, he finally says. Yes, Professor, I respond, my voice hollowed out as his footsteps retreat. I nearly whisper thesis to the empty room, not to end a session, but to end whatever this has become before it destroys us both. We maintain painful distance for the rest of the conference. On the flight home, he upgrades to first class while I remain in economy. Back at the university, our regular sessions resume with cold professionalism that feels like punishment. A week passes. My revised dissertation chapters earn clinical approval without the praise I once craved. The dynamic that drove my academic transformation has vanished, replaced by textbook mentorship that leaves me hollow. Your conclusion needs strengthening, he says during our Friday session, not looking up from his notes. The implications aren't sufficiently developed. Yes, Professor. I remain standing in the center of his office, no longer asked to kneel, no longer guided by his hands. He checks his watch. That's all for today, Professor Blackwood. My voice stops him as he begins packing his briefcase. Have I done something wrong? His eyes finally meet mine. Wrong? Since the conference, you've been different. I've been appropriate. He closes his briefcase with finality. As I should have been from the beginning. I stop myself. What do you miss, Eliza? A dangerous edge enters his voice. The intensity, I admit. The challenge. The submission? His directness makes me flush. Yes, he approaches slowly. What happened at the conference demonstrated why boundaries exist. I allowed our professional relationship to become compromised. It wasn't just you. I say quietly, I'm your advisor. The responsibility was mine. He stops before me, close enough that I can smell his cologne. I should never have touched you, but you did. Something shifts in his expression. I did. We stand in charged silence until he finally speaks again. If we continue our previous dynamic, there must be absolute clarity about boundaries and expectations. I understand. Do you? He steps closer. Because what I want from you goes beyond academic submission, Eliza. I've tried to deny that, but it would be dishonest to continue the pretense. My breath catches. What do you want? His hand rises slowly, giving me time to step away. When I remain still, his fingers trace my jawline. This and more. The touch breaks weeks of tension. I lean into his hand, eyes closing. Look at me, he commands softly. I open my eyes, meeting his gaze. If we cross this line, he says, the safe word applies to everything, not just academic challenges. Yes. His other hand finds my waist, drawing me closer. Say it properly. Yes, Professor. His lips brush mine, barely a touch. Again. Yes, Professor Blackwood. The kiss deepens, his control absolute even in this. My hands remain at my sides as he taught me, waiting for permission that doesn't come. When he pulls away, I'm breathless. This changes nothing professionally, he says, voice rough. Your work must remain excellent. I will remain demanding. I expect nothing less. His thumb brushes my lower lip. Tomorrow night, my house. 7:00. He hands me a card with an address. If you come, it means you consent to exploring this aspect of our dynamic. If you don't, we return to strictly professional interactions, no questions asked. I take the card, fingers trembling slightly. Whatever you decide, he adds, stepping away. Use tonight to think carefully about what you want, Eliza, because once certain lines are crossed, they cannot be uncrossed. I spend the night in restless deliberation, weighing desire against wisdom. By morning, I know my decision. The day passes in a blur of anticipation. Dissertation work, a welcome distraction from the evening ahead. His house surprises me, not the austere modernist structure I'd imagined, but a renovated Victorian with warm lights glowing behind stained glass. I hesitate on the porch, pulse racing. Before knocking Dot, he opens the door himself, casually dressed in dark jeans and a charcoal sweater. Without his usual academic armor, he seems both more approachable and more intimidating. You came, he says simply. Yes, he steps aside. Come in. The interior reveals refined taste, original woodwork, carefully chosen art, bookshelves lining every wall. No academic sterility here, but a home of thoughtful comfort. Wine, he offers, leading me to a living room warmed by a fireplace. Please. He pours 2 glasses, his movements deliberate. When he hands me mine, our fingers brush intentionally. We should discuss parameters, he says, sitting opposite me. Expectations, boundaries. The professor even now establishing structure. All right. What happens between us remains entirely separate from your academic standing. His eyes hold mine. Your dissertation will be evaluated on merit alone. I never thought otherwise. He nods, satisfied. The safe word remains thesis. It applies to everything we do, everything I ask of you. I understand. Do you? He leans forward. Because what I want from you, Eliza, is complete surrender. Not just academically, but physically, emotionally. The directness makes me flush. And what do I get in return? A smile touches his lips, appreciation for my negotiation. My complete attention, my guidance, my... He pauses, selecting his word carefully. Care? Not a fair exchange, I observe. No? He raises an eyebrow, then walk away. The door is there. We return to professional roles tomorrow. Nothing changed. I don't move. That's not what I want. Then tell me what you do want. His voice softens. Precisely. The wine emboldens. Me, I want what we've been circling for months. I want to surrender to you and find myself in that surrender. He sets down his glass, approaches my chair. Stand up. I comply. Heart pounding. His fingers trace my collarbone, echoing the touch. From the hotel. You understand this isn't casual for me. I don't take this lightly, nor do I. His hand slides to my nape, tangling in my hair. Last chance to walk away, Eliza. In answer, I sink to my knees before him, an echo of our academic sessions transformed into something far more intimate. His sharp intake of breath is the only indication of surprise. Then his fingers tighten in my hair, tilting my face up to his. Good girl, he whispers. The words that once confused me now send heat coursing through my body. His other hand traces my lips. Tell me you're certain. I'm certain, Professor. Gabriel. He corrects softly. Here, when we're alone like this, I'm Gabriel. Gabriel, I repeat, the intimacy of his name on my lips more transgressive than kneeling before him. He helps me to my feet, draws me toward the staircase. Then let's begin your education and surrender, Eliza. Gabriel's bedroom continues the theme of his home, masculine but not severe, dominated by a large bed with dirt sheets. A single lamp casts amber shadows across the room. Stand there, he directs, indicating the center of the room. I comply, remembering countless similar commands. In his office, this time the academic pretense has vanished. We'll establish a new protocol, he says, circling me slowly. Rules that define us here separate from our professional relationship. What rules? First, his hand brushes my shoulder. You will always answer honestly when asked what you want or how you feel. I nod. Second, you will use my name, not my title, when we're alone like this. Yes, Gabriel. His name in my mouth still feels forbidden, thrilling. Third, you will tell me immediately if anything becomes too much. The safe word exists for a reason. I understand. He steps before me. Last rule, perhaps the most important. His fingers trace my jawline. You will complete your dissertation with the same excellence you've shown these past months. What happens between us changes nothing academically. I wouldn't want it to. Approval flickers in his eyes. Good. His hand moves to the top button of my blouse. May I? The formal request surprises me. I'd expected commands, not questions. Yes, his fingers work slowly down my buttons. I've wanted to do this since that night in my office, the storm. When you took down your hair. I knew, I whisper. Did you? The last button opens. His hands slide inside my blouse, resting at my waist. Tell me what you thought that night. That something had changed between us. That we couldn't go back. He pushes the blouse from my shoulders. And now? No going back from this? I don't want to go back. His hands trace my collarbones, shoulders, the lace edge of my bra. Each touch deliberate, measured. Your dissertation defense, he says unexpectedly. What about it? I've scheduled it for next month. I stiffen in surprise. But I'm not. You are. His fingers press against my lips, silencing me. Your work is exceptional, ready for committee review. I have more revisions, always more revisions. The perfect is the enemy of the finished. His hands move to my hair, loosening it from its clip. You're ready, Eliza. As my hair falls around my shoulders, I process his words. You really think so? I know so. He steps back, admiring me with my blouse open, hair down. In a month, you'll be Dr. Mitchell, in fact, not just in my expectations. A different kind of thrill runs through me, academic validation, perhaps more. Intoxicating than his touch. Thank you. For what? His hand returns to my waist. For pushing me. For seeing what I could be. I pushed because you could take it, could rise to it. His touch becomes more insistent, drawing me closer. Just as you can take this being, whatever I ask of you. His voice drops lower. Whatever I want from you. Test me, I challenge. Softly. Something dangerous flashes in his eyes. His grip tightens on my waist. Be very careful what you ask for, Eliza. I know what I'm asking. I meet his gaze steadily. I want the same intensity here that you demanded in my work. For a moment, he's still. Then his control shifts, hardens. His hand slides up to my throat, not squeezing, but asserting dominance. Then you'll get exactly that. What follows is a test of wills, unlike any academic challenge, his dominance against my surrender, both feeding the other in escalating intensity. When he finally presses me back onto his bed, I understand that this, like my dissertation, is a journey of transformation from which I'll emerge fundamentally changed. The following weeks transform both my dissertation and myself. By day, I refine, may research with newfound clarity. By night, I surrender to Gabriel with equal precision. The line between academic discipline and personal submission blurs until they feel like aspects of the same journey. Tonight, I sit cross-legged on his living room floor, surrounded by dissertation pages. He moves around the kitchen, preparing dinner as I work. The historical context section still feels incomplete, I say, frustration edging my voice. He glances over from the stove. What's missing? The bridge between Hegelian dialectics and contemporary applications? I can't quite articulate it. He nods, stirring something that smells of garlic and wine. Stand up, I comply, accustomed now to his transitions between casual conversation and command. Come here. In the kitchen, he turns me to face away from him, pressing against my back. One hand slides around my waist while the other sweeps my hair aside to access my neck. Close your eyes, he murmurs against my skin. Forget the dissertation, forget everything but my voice. His lips trace my neck as he speaks. Your mind is trying too hard, forcing connections rather than allowing them to emerge naturally. But the deadline, Shay, his grip tightens. Let go of the pressure. As his touch intensifies, academic concerns fade. This is his gift, using physical dominance to quiet my restless mind. When my body surrenders, my thoughts follow. Later on the kitchen floor, my mind drifts in post-climactic clarity when the connection suddenly crystallizes. Hegel's recognition of consciousness, I murmur against his chest. That's the bridge. Self-consciousness only exists when recognized by another consciousness. He laughs softly, stroking my hair. That's what was blocking you, the master-slave dialectic? The irony isn't lost on either of us. I need to write this down, I say, starting to rise. His arm holds me in place. Not yet. But I'll forget. No. You won't. His voice carries absolute certainty. It's clear to you now. Trust that clarity will remain. I relax back against him, accepting his judgment. You've made remarkable progress, he says, both academically and personally. Because of you. No, his correction is gentle but firm. Because of what was already within you. I merely provided structure. Structure and motivation, I add, thinking of the many ways he's rewarded my academic breakthroughs. He shifts, bringing us face to face. Your dissertation defense is in 2 weeks. Are you prepared? Yes. For once, I feel no anxiety at the prospect. More than prepared. Good. His hand traces lazy patterns on my bare skin. Because after you successfully defend, our arrangement will need to evolve. I tense slightly. Evolve how? You won't be my student anymore. The power dynamics change. Does that mean this ends? The possibility sends unexpected panic through me. That depends on you. His expression grows serious. Without the academic structure, what would you want from me? From us? The question catches me off guard. I've been so focused on becoming Dr. Mitchell that I haven't considered what lies beyond that achievement or what it means for us. I don't know, I admit. Then that's what you need to determine before your defense. His thumb traces my lower lip. Whether this was about the academic journey or something more enduring. Later, driving home, his question haunts me. What began? As academic submission has become essential to my sense of self. But without the framework of professor and student, what would remain between us? And more troubling, is my academic success now inseparable from my surrender to him? The philosophy department buzzes with end-of-semester energy as I approach Gabriel's office for our scheduled meeting. Inside, I find him in conversation with Professor Winters, the department chair. Ah, Eliza, Winters says warmly. I was just telling Gabriel how impressed the committee is with your dissertation draft. Thank you, Professor. I maintain professional distance, acutely aware of Gabriel watching me. We're expecting great things at your defense. A position At Princeton, perhaps. She smiles knowingly. My former colleague there mentioned your conference presentation quite favorably. Gabriel's expression reveals nothing. Eliza's work stands on its own merit. After Winters leaves, he closes the door. Princeton? He asks, voice carefully neutral. They reached out after the conference? I hadn't told him, uncertain how to navigate this intersection of our professional and private lives. And you didn't mention this because I haven't decided if I'm interested. I watch him carefully. It would depend on several factors. Your career decisions should be based on academic considerations alone, he says stiffly. Should they? I step closer. Nothing exists in isolation, Gabriel. You taught me that. His professional mask slips momentarily. What are you saying, Eliza? That I'm considering my future holistically. I hold his gaze. Including what happens between us after my defense. Don't tell me it's not relevant. For the first time, I interrupt him. You asked what I want from us beyond the academic structure. I'm still determining that, but my answer affects decisions like Princeton. Surprise flickers across his face, followed by something like respect. You're challenging me? Yes, here. In my office, where you once cried when I criticized your work. Things change. I move closer still. I've changed. His expression darkens with desire. This is dangerous territory, Eliza. I know. I deliberately place my hand on his desk, leaning forward. But I'm no longer afraid of academic failure, or of you. In one fluid movement, he steps around the desk, backing me against the door. His hand slides into my hair, tightening just enough to assert control, not afraid. His voice drops to a whisper. Perhaps you should be. Perhaps you should be, I counter softly. You've created something you can no longer fully control. The flash of surprise in his eyes confirms my words have landed. Then his mouth claims mine, the kiss possessive, almost punishing. When he pulls away, we're both breathing hard. This is inappropriate, he says, not moving away. Completely. I don't retreat either. If anyone saw, no one will see. My hands find his chest, feeling his heartbeat. But this is exactly what I wanted to discuss. What happens after my defense? When I'm Dr. Mitchell instead of your student? He steps back, creating distance. We should have this conversation elsewhere. We're having it now. The authority in my voice surprises us both, because I need to know before I make decisions. About Princeton or anywhere else? He studies me with new eyes. What do you want to know? If this, I gesture between us, is contingent on our academic relationship. If your interest in me depends on my submission? It doesn't, he answers immediately. Then what happens when we're colleagues instead of professor and student? When I no longer kneel in your office? His expression softens unexpectedly. Then we discover a new dynamic, one based on mutual choice rather than academic hierarchy. And if Princeton offers me a position, then you consider it based on what's best for your career. He reaches for my face, his touch gentle, and we discuss what's possible between us, whatever you decide. The sincerity in his eyes makes something unclench inside me. For the first time, I allow myself to imagine a future where our connection evolves beyond its origins, complex, challenging, but fundamentally changed. I should go, I say, reaching for the door. I have defense preparations. Eliza. His voice stops me. Whatever you're considering about us, about your future, don't make any decisions until after the defense. Focus on that first. I nod, understanding the wisdom in his words. One challenge at a time, exactly. His smile holds a promise. We'll have time for the rest. Whispers follow me through the philosophy department. Nothing explicit, nothing actionable, but the sidelong glances from administrative staff and the sudden silence when I enter the graduate lounge speak volumes. Heard you've been spending evenings at Blackwood's house, remarks Tara, a fellow PhD candidate, voice carefully casual as we share the department kitchen. Dissertation consultations, I reply, focusing on my coffee. Of course, her tone suggests. Otherwise, just unusual, that's all. He typically meets students here. I maintain my composure, remembering Gabriel's training. My research requires extended discussion sessions. I'm sure it does. She leaves with a knowing smile. Later that afternoon, I arrive for my regular meeting with Gabriel to find his office door ajar, raised voices within. Completely inappropriate relationship with a student. Professor Winter's voice unmistakable. My mentorship of Eliza Mitchell is exemplary and entirely professional. Gabriel's tone is controlled but tense. 3 separate reports of evening visits to your home, Gabriel. The department has standards. Eliza's dissertation is groundbreaking work requiring extensive consultation. Nothing improper has occurred. I freeze in the hallway, heart pounding. Her defense committee needs complete confidence in the academic integrity of her work, Winters continues. These rumors undermine that. Then the committee should focus on her scholarship, not departmental gossip. Nevertheless, I'm recommending you recuse yourself from her defense committee to protect both your reputations. Footsteps approach the door. I retreat quickly around the corner, watching Professor Winters exit, her expression troubled. After giving her time to leave, I approach Gabriel's office, knocking softly. Enter. His voice sounds strained. He stands at the window. Tension evident in every line of his body. Eliza, our meeting. I heard. I admit quietly, closing the door. Not intentionally, but it doesn't matter. He turns, his expression carefully controlled. Professor Winters has concerns about the perception of our working relationship. She wants you off my committee. Yes. Will you fight it? He studies me carefully. Should I? The question hangs between us, weighted with implications. If he recuses himself, my work stands entirely on its own merit. If he fights to remain, he risks both our reputations. No, I decide finally. Let her reconstitute the committee. Surprise flickers across his face. You're certain? My work is strong enough to withstand any committee. The confidence in my voice is genuine, and this removes any question about favoritism or impropriety. Something like pride crosses his expression. You've come a long way from the student who cried in my office because of you. No. He approaches, stopping just short of touching me, because you were always capable of this. You just needed to believe it. The distance he maintains speaks volumes about our new reality. Whatever exists between us must remain completely hidden until after my defense, perhaps longer. The rumors, I begin, will fade if not fed. His voice is steady. We must be entirely professional until your defense. No meetings outside the department, no private consultations. And after you successfully defend, and you will, we can discuss the future. His expression softens momentarily. But know this changes nothing between us privately. Not, unless you wish it to. I don't, I say quickly. Too quickly, a ghost of a smile touches his lips. Good. Now we focus on preparing you for a committee that will be scrutinizing your work with particular attention. I'm ready. You are. For a moment, his professional mask slips. You're extraordinary, Eliza. Remember that when you stand before them. As I leave his office, maintaining careful professional distance, I realize that whatever happens with my defense, with Princeton, with our future, I've already been transformed. The woman who entered his office months ago with tears in her eyes no longer exists. In her place stands someone stronger, more disciplined, more confident, someone who understands that true power lies not in resistance, but in the conscious choice to surrender. The night before my defense, anxiety overwhelms me despite months of preparation. I call Gabriel, breaking our agreement to maintain distance. I shouldn't be calling, I say when he answers. No, he agrees. You shouldn't. I can't sleep, can't focus. My voice trembles. Everything we've worked for, and suddenly I can't remember. Basic arguments from my own research. Silence stretches between us, then meet me in my office, 20 minutes. But the rumors, Eliza, his voice holds familiar command, 20 minutes. The department building stands nearly empty at 10 p.m. His office light glows like a beacon. I knock softly. Enter. He sits behind his desk, professional posture intact. Lock the door. I comply, remembering our first private session months ago. Same instruction, different context. You're experiencing completely normal pre-defense anxiety, he says clinically. Your mind is attempting to process too much information simultaneously. I know that intellectually, but come here. He stands, moving to the center of the office. I approach cautiously. This feels dangerous after weeks of careful professional distance. Kneel. The command startles me. Gabriel, I don't think. That's precisely the problem. You're thinking too much. His voice softens slightly. Trust me, Eliza, one last time as your advisor. I sink to my knees, the familiar position immediately centering. Close your eyes. I obey, feeling my racing thoughts begin to slow. Now, recite your dissertation's central argument. The words come automatically, drilled into me through countless sessions. Again, slower. I repeat the argument, hearing its clarity, its strength, your research questions in order of significance. For 30 minutes, he guides me through my entire dissertation methodology, findings, implications, all from memory. All from my knees. My anxiety gradually dissolves, replaced by academic certainty. Open your eyes. When I do, he's crouched before me, our faces level. You're ready, he says quietly. You've always been ready. Thank you. The words feel insufficient. Stand. Up. I rise, expecting him to maintain professional distance. Instead, he reaches for my hand, pressing something into my palm. A small silver pen, a pine tree. Your safe word, he explains. Carry it tomorrow. If panic begins, touch it. Remember, you can stop anything that becomes too much. The gesture overwhelms me. Gabriel, shy. He steps back, restoring professional space between us. I won't be on your committee, but I'll be in the room. Back row, observing only. Will you ask questions? No, this is your moment, Eliza, your achievement alone. His eyes hold mine. But afterward, when you're officially Dr. Mitchell, find me. Why? Because I need to hear your safe word, one more. Time confusion must show on my face. You need to use it, he explains. Not because anything's wrong, but because you need to experience ending something on your terms. Complete agency. Understanding dawns slowly. You want me to end our arrangement? I want you to choose, completely freely, as my equal. His expression grows serious. What began between us had inherent power and balance. For anything to continue, that must be consciously reset. The realization of what he's offering, true choice, true agency, nearly brings tears to my eyes. Tomorrow, then, I whisper. Tomorrow, Dr. Mitchell. He opens the door, professional mask firmly back in place. Sleep well. In my apartment, I clutch the silver pine tree, understanding it represents something far more significant than a momentary escape. It symbolizes the power he's always ensured I possessed, even when kneeling at his feet. The defense room fills with faculty, graduate students, and a handful of undergraduates drawn by department gossip. I stand at the podium, Gabriel's silver pine tree pin fastened discreetly inside my blazer pocket, its weight reassuring against my fingertips. Professor Winters introduces the reconstituted Committee 3 internal faculty, 2 external reviewers. Joining virtually, Gabriel sits in the back row, expression neutral but eyes intense. Our shared secret wraps around me like invisible armor. Dr. Mitchell to be, begins Professor Winters. Please present your dissertation overview. I launch into my presentation with practiced precision. The words flow effortlessly, months of Gabriel's training manifesting in perfect academic poise. My gestures are measured, my voice projects authority, my arguments build with irrefutable logic. When questions begin, they come with unexpected intensity. The committee probes every potential weakness, challenges every assumption. I recognize the additional scrutiny, the whispered rumors demanding me be exceptionally thorough. Your methodology section makes ambitious claims about reconciling continental and analytic approaches, notes Dr. Harrington, the external reviewer from Oxford. Yet the historical antagonism between these traditions suggests fundamental incompatibility. I feel a moment of panic, my hand instinctively touching the pine tree pin. From the back row, Gabriel watches, utterly still. I draw a breath, remembering his voice. Stand straight. Project authority. Your work stands on its own merit. The perceived incompatibility, I begin, voice steady, stems from historical academic politics rather than genuine philosophical necessity. My research demonstrates that when we examine the underlying questions both traditions attempt to answer, we find complementary approaches rather than contradictory ones. For 2 hours, I defend my work without faltering. When Professor Winters finally says, "The committee will now deliberate in private," I exit on steady legs, refusing to glance at Gabriel despite feeling his gaze follow me in the hallway. Fellow graduate students offer congratulations on my performance. I accept them with composed gratitude, all the while sensing the weight of the pine tree against my fingers. The deliberation takes only 20 minutes, unusually brief. When I'm called back in, Professor Winter's smile tells me everything before. She speaks. "Congratulations, Dr. Mitchell. Your dissertation has been accepted with minor revisions. The committee was particularly impressed with your defense of the methodological framework." Relief and triumph fled through me as applause fills the room. I shake hands with committee members, accept congratulations from faculty. Through it all, I remain aware of Gabriel standing back, allowing me this moment without complication. As the crowd disperses, Professor Winters approaches. "Remarkable work, Eliza. Princeton will be fortunate to have you, should you accept their offer." "Thank you," I respond, surprised she knows about Princeton. "Gabriel mentioned you're considering their junior faculty position." She glances toward him across the room. "He speaks very highly of your potential." The realization that Gabriel has been advocating for my career opportunities, even those that might take me away from him, strikes me profoundly. As the room empties, he remains by the door, waiting. When we're finally alone, he approaches. "Dr. Mitchell," he says formally, extending his hand. "Exceptional performance." I take his hand, feeling the familiar electricity between us. "Thank you, Professor Blackwood." The committee was appropriately thorough. They were, I agree. I was prepared. Something like pride flickers in his eyes. "Yes, you were." We stand in charged silence until he finally speaks again. "You know what I need to hear now?" I reach into my pocket, touching the silver pine tree. "Thesis," I say clearly. He nods, expression unreadable. "Say it again." "Thesis." My voice stronger. Once more. "Thesis." The word echoes in the empty room. He exhales slowly. There, our academic arrangement is officially terminated. Whatever happens next comes from equal footing. The weight of the moment settles between us, an ending and a potential beginning, my choice entirely. "Come to my house tonight," I say. 8 o'clock. His eyebrow raises slightly at my directness. "As colleagues?" "As whatever we choose to be to each other," I answer. On my terms this time. Something like anticipation flashes in his eyes. 8 o'clock then. As he walks away, I remain in the defense room, savoring the symmetry of the moment. I entered this program as one person and emerged transformed, not just academically, but in my understanding of power surrender. And the strength found in both. I prepare my apartment meticulously, wine breathing, lighting subdued, dissertation. Materials deliberately visible on my desk. When Gabriel knocks at 8 precisely, I'm ready. "Dr. Mitchell," he greets me firmly, though his eyes convey more intimate recognition. "Professor Blackwood." I step aside. "Thank you for coming." He enters, taking in the space with observant eyes. "I've never seen your home before." "No, I agree. Our previous arrangement didn't include equal territory." He acknowledges this with a slight nod, accepting the wine I offer. "Princeton called this afternoon. They're extending a formal offer. I know. I spoke with them earlier." "And?" His casual tone doesn't quite mask his interest. "I'm still considering my options." I sit across from him, deliberately maintaining distance, including Stanford and Columbia. All excellent opportunities. His expression reveals nothing. "When will you decide?" "Soon." I sip my wine. "But that's not why I asked you here tonight." No. I set down my glass. "I asked you here to establish new parameters." Interest flickers in his eyes. "Parameters for whatever exists between us going forward." I meet his gaze directly, without the academic hierarchy. "And what do?" You propose, Dr. Mitchell? The formal title in this intimate setting creates delicious tension. First, we acknowledge what began as uneven power dynamics. Acknowledged. Second, we recognize that while the professional imbalance has ended, certain preferences remain. His expression darkened slightly. Preferences? My inclination toward submission, your toward dominance? I hold his gaze, but reframed as conscious choice between equals. He sets down his glass, attention fully focused on me now. Continue. Third, we establish a new safe word. Thesis belonged to student and professor. What would you suggest instead? Pine. I touch the silver pin still in my pocket. Same meaning, different context. He nods slowly. These terms are acceptable. What else? Distance and discretion, professionally, regardless of where I accept a position, of course. And complete honesty about what we want from each other. I lean forward slightly, beginning now. His eyes hold mine for a long moment. What do you want, Eliza? The same intensity we've shared, the same challenge and growth. I stand, moving toward him, but with the freedom to resist, to push back, to lead when I choose to. He remains seated, watching me approach. And when would you choose to lead? In answer, I stand before him, then slowly sink to my knees, not from obedience this time, but deliberate choice. Not tonight. Something like heat flashes in his eyes, and if I refuse these terms, then you leave, and we maintain strictly professional connection. My voice remains steady. My dissertation is defended. I no longer need your mentorship, but you want it. I want you, I correct him. The distinction matters. He reaches out, fingers tracing my jawline with familiar possession. You've truly transformed Eliza from the student who cried when criticized to a woman who negotiates from her knees. I learned from the best. His hand slides into my hair, gentle but firm. If we do this, continue this, you understand it can't be casual? For either of us, I never thought it was. For a long moment, he studies me, as though making a final assessment. Then he leans forward, his lips nearly touching mine. Stand up, he whispers. I comply, our bodies now close. Your terms are accepted, he says softly, with one addition, which is, his hand finds mine, fingers intertwining. That we acknowledge. This has become something neither of us anticipated. Something beyond power exchange or academic hierarchy. The vulnerability in his eyes takes my breath away. Agreed. His kiss is different from those before, not dominating, but questioning, as though we're learning each other anew. When we separate, I see my future with sudden clarity. I'm accepting Stanford's offer. Surprise flickers across his face. 3,000 miles away, a 6-hour flight, I counter, and visiting faculty opportunities at both institutions. Understanding dawns in his eyes. You've researched this thoroughly. I've learned to be rigorous in my methodology. I smile slightly. You taught me that, among other things. His arms encircle me properly now, all pretense of professional distance abandoned. Gabriel, I whisper against his neck. I didn't use the safe word. No, he agrees, understanding my meaning. You didn't need to. And in that acknowledgement lies everything, my strength found through surrender, his control tempered by respect, and the delicate balance we've discovered together. I stare at my reflection later that night, Gabriel sleeping in my bed, and see someone unrecognizable from the woman who once broke down in tears in his office. In her place stands Dr. Eliza Mitchell, who understands that true power lies not in dominance or submission, but in the conscious choice between them. He watches me from the bed, eyes reflecting candlelight. Second thoughts? No, I smile, returning to him, just appreciation for the journey. Our journey is just beginning, he reminds me, drawing me down beside him, and for once, I surrender without reservation, knowing I do so from a place of complete freedom and power.